Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ICS321, and today is January 27th. Let me share my screen. And so we are, let's see, this week we are meeting on Thursday and Friday. So this is the first video of this week. And so we are in this third week and we're doing relational databases. Okay, so I'll go through this. Let me see. Oh, that's right. I was going to show you assignment 1, which is due tomorrow or whenever. So I think maybe I should do that because I think I started doing that last time and I got messed up. Let me look at the playlist here. See where we left off. Well, I don't see that I did anything. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to do the assignment, the first assignment. So that is this one. And it's real easy, but it really gets you started. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to use this grading assistant to help me. And as I do them, so I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3, and it's okay, right? Okay, so now I'm going to log in to my account. So yeah, this is my URL, except for actually, because I've got so many darn accounts on this server, I think I fiddled with this. I did something like this or something. Oh no. Oh, this should be ICS. Boy, that's a pretty bad. That's a pretty big error. Anyway. All right. So anyway, so everyone's got a website that looks like this, and you know, you can go to it, and it looks like this. We are we're going to go. We use cPanel to go into the server and stuff. So cPanel, and it comes up. It looks like this, and your I better fix that. Your username is this. It's the first 5 letters of your UH username, followed by 321. And then your password looks something like this, where these 8 digits here are your 8-digit UH ID. And this is the capital. This is your last name, first letter of your last name capitalized, and so on. So anyway, you log in. So for me, it's R 321, I think, or something. Yeah, and the password is I think this will work. Yes, it does work, and I think I'm going to save that. And so this is what your cPanel looks like when you log in. And we're interested in the file manager. And we're also going to be interested in, that's the file manager. We're going to be interested in MySQL databases. We're going to be creating a lot of databases. We're going to be using PHP MyAdmin. That's how we're going to interact with the database and create tables and so on. And then we're also going to do terminal. And here we can execute programs from the command line when we're debugging them. So I'll show you that. Anyways, let's start with a file manager. Click on File Manager, and we open it up here. And what's the first thing we're supposed to do? We're supposed to set up the secure server default. Okay, so all right, so we're supposed to okay, so in the file manager, this is the home directory. See, it says home right here, and this is my home directory. You know, yours is what yours is there, and this is this public HTML. This is where your web pages are. See, we're sort of one level up from where your web pages are. So you can double click here, and this is where your web pages go. And this is the same as when I go to when I go here, I see the CGI bin directory. If I had a web page there, then I would see that. Okay, I can make a file here. I'm going to call it hello txt, and I'm going to create this file, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to say hello there, and I'm going to save that, and I'm going to close it. And now when I go here, this is my web page. I hit refresh, and oh look, there's the file hello.txt, which I just created, and it's 12 bytes long. And when I click on it, it opens up, and look, there it is. Okay, so that's the web page. Now, so in our assignment, you don't have to do that for the assignment, but you can do that if you want to. For the assignment, we're supposed to go look in the, okay, so we want it where whenever we go to the web page, it automatically goes to https:// So it automatically reverts to the secure server. So we just type in a URL, and if it comes to your website, it automatically goes to the secure server. So right now, if we just go to, right now, when I just go to this, it doesn't go to the secure server. See, the log is broken. Okay, so to fix that, go back to the file manager, and we have to take a look at the hidden files. So how do you look at hidden files? I know that in the video, my picture is right here, so I'm gonna pop this out and sort of move it right here. And there's a settings button there up in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that. And right here, it's preferences for your viewing here. And we want to show hidden files. So I'm going to click on show hidden files. Click on save. Okay, so now we can see the hidden files. Oh, look, there's a hidden folder. And here's a hidden file. And hidden files and folders, their names begin with a period. So if you want to make hidden files, you can have the file name start with a period, and then when you go to when you go to here, you're not going to see the hidden files. All right, so let's open up the .htaccess. We're supposed to open up the .htaccess and add these 3 lines, and we can add these 3 lines up at the top. Okay, so I'm going to copy these, copy, and then I'm going to go over to here, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to edit, and it already has this here. This is to make sure that PHP goes to the right version of PHP. So that's there already. Just leave that there, and you can just paste in those 3 lines right up here at the top. And this will redirect anything to HTTP host to HTTPS host. Okay, save changes. Okay, and now if I were to refresh this, boom, it automatically goes to the secure server. Oh, great. And I can where's that? Here, I can put my ICS321 and do the URL redirect test, and success. Okay, so it tested it, and I got all the points. I got the whole point. All right. Yes. All right. So that's the first one. So I got that one. What's the next one? Executing PHP programs. Okay. So I think all I got to do is copy and paste this in. And make sure that works. And the third one is I copy in this Python code and get this to work. So this is kind of the hardest one. There can be more errors that go wrong. So let's do the second one here. So we're supposed to create a new file called test.php. So let's see, I'm done with this. I'm going to close this. So go over here and create a new file called test.php. I'm in public HTML right here. Click on new file, and I'm going to call it test.php. And here it is. It's empty. Open it up. Go do edit. And you know, you don't really, I should make these assignments a little bit harder, but basically just copy this. Copy. Paste. Go over here, paste it in. And there it is. And it's a good idea to know what this is. This tells the, you know, this is something that this file is, it's on a server, and this is what gets sent back to the browser. So this is like a browser page. The first thing this does is it tells the browser what's coming, and what's coming is a text file, and it's just plain text. It's not HTML. It's just plain text. Okay, so that way it's going to just display out character by character, and it's not going to try to recognize any HTML code or process any HTML code. And then this is PHP code, and we're just printing hello world. And then I'm asking what the version of PHP is, and I'm storing it in a variable called $var. All variables in PHP start with a $. Okay, it's $, and so this prints out, you know, back to the browser, PHP version, and then this is what the version is, and then this is a \n, which means it's a new line. You know, skips to the next line. Same with this here. And because it's not HTML, because it's plain text, then you actually do see it skip to the next line. Now, if you're going to pass parameters into this PHP program, you can pass them in as a query string. Okay, a query string where the name is name. The query string contains name value pairs, and so here this is looking for a name value pair where the name is called name, NAME, and then that's going to be equal to some value, and that's what this is going to be. And so it's going to check to see if there is a name coming in. If there is, it's going to capture that and print out hello name. If there is no name coming in, in other words, if this request variable does not exist, which means there was no name value pair, what I'm talking about is when you run the program, you have that on the end of it. This is the name value pair. The name part of the name value pair is NAME, and the value part is capital J and then OE. So anyway, so I've pasted this code in here. I'm just going to save it. And now when I go over here to my website and I hit refresh, I see there's my program, and and when I click on this, then it says hello world, PHP version 7.3.33, hello there. Okay, and what that is this code is first it says hello world, then it prints out the PHP version, and then it checks to see if there was a name value pair, and there wasn't. So then this variable was set equal to the word there, and then this printed out hello and then whatever that is. Now, if I want to test the name value pair, I can go back here, and this is, see, I'm running the program. I can put a question mark name equals Joe Schmo. Name equals Joe Schmo. Enter. And it says, hello, Joe Schmo, because the name is equal to Joe Schmo. So anyway, that's all that is. And so now I can test to see if that works. Or if this is PHP test. Okay, so it looks to see if that's there. That's returned like that. This returned like that. Then I did. I sent Joe where this is the name. Anyway, it worked. So I got all the points. Great, wonderful. All right, let's do the third one here. And by the way, let me refresh my little grading thing here. Now let's see if I can show you this. See if I can show you this without, oops, without revealing anybody else's name. I think I can. I just want to show you that just the act of my doing that, I now have my score. So let me see if I can. Okay. All right, that's okay that it shows the one below it because that's also me. So this is the one I'm doing right now, and I tested HTTPS redirect. If I click this, I run the same test, and I did this one. So I got 20 points for that one. I got 40 points for that one. That's what the number of points is. Down here, I see that for the first one, I got 100%. For the second one, I got 100%. And I haven't done the third one yet. Okay, I haven't done any of these yet. This is me from. This is a different one of me, and these are all ones that I've done already. It helps me. So anyway, so let's do the third one. Let's do the Python test. Get this out of here. I think I can do this. All right. All right. So this shows it. This shows it working here. Doesn't it? Nice. Okay, so let's do the Python one. Now this one is harder, okay, because there's more stuff that has to be exactly right. And I'm going to do it step by step. Let's see, because I want to illustrate, if I can, illustrate the kinds of errors that you can actually get when you're doing this. So I'm done with this test.php one. I'm going to close that. This is I'm going to close. So I'm going to go back because I want to go back to, this is where I start from. This is my okay. So I'm going to create a new file called. Well, first it says to go into the htaccess file and add this. I'm going to just leave that out for now because I want to see what happens if I don't put that in there. Okay, these are the errors that could possibly happen. So if you want, you can just wait till I'm all done, but basically it's easy. I'm going to put that in htaccess. I'm going to paste this code into this file called test.py. And then I got to make sure the permissions of the file are 755, otherwise it won't work. And then I can run it and it should work. But I'm going to also show you how you can run it from the terminal when the thing has errors and it's not working. You know, you're trying to run it from here and you're getting this internal server error 500, whatever. But you can run it from the terminal. And so that way you can see if it's in your code that's not working, if you actually have some sort of error in your code, or if it runs with the terminal at the terminal, but you still get that 500 error, then it has to do with something like the permissions are not right, or it could have something to do with the fact that when you copy and paste the file from here over into the file manager, you end up pasting in lines that have carriage return characters at the end of each line, and that messes up the Python interpreter. Python interpreter doesn't like it. And there especially, you should run it through the auto grader, because the auto grader actually goes in and fixes your file. Okay, so I'll show you that. All right, so I'm going to create a new file called test.py. So right here, I'm in the main directory here. I'm going to PHP public underscore HTML directory, a file called test.py. Save, create a new file. Here it is, test.py. I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to see if this works. I'm just going to copy this. Copy. And I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to save this. And so this is Python. And we print out that content type text plain, and we actually have to put an additional line feed there. And then because there has to actually be a blank line after this line. So anyway, and then we print the hello world, and then we then we see what Python version we are. We have to import this module to do that. This prints that out. This is what we have to import this module to be able to get the name value pairs from the URL. You know, name equals Joe Schmo. We have to be able to get those from the URL, and to do that we have to import this CGI module, and we have to this dictionary here is created from this method of the in the CGI module. And so this checks to see if there was a name that was sent. If there was a name sent, then it creates this variable called name. It saves it in there and prints that out. Otherwise, if there was no name sent, then it sets there, name equal to there, and so that's what it prints out. Okay, so so I'm going to save this. Now let's see, let's go over here and let's refresh this and let's see if this works. What happens? I'm going to click on this. Oh, look, we just see the code. Well, the reason we see the code and we don't see it does not execute, it's not executing, we just see the code. The reason for that is because we did not do this step, which tells the web server at startup, so you know, somebody's trying to access test.py, and web server wakes up, and the first thing it does is it goes into that htaccess file and executes anything in there, and this is in there, and this says, oh, if there's a file that ends in .py, that's a script. That's a CGI script. That's a program. Okay, what kind of program? Oh, I don't know. But it's a program. And then this first line here, that says what kind of program it is. This says, go into usr/bin and find this program and execute this program. This is the interpreter. This is the interpreter for this script. Okay, so it's a combination of this ending in py and then the first line of the program being this, which makes it so the rest of this can execute as a Python program. So I'm going to try to, but before I do that, I'm going to go over to the main, go back to main cPanel, And I'm going to go down to this terminal, advanced. I'm going to open this up. And I open it up and I get this warning. This is the first time I've gone in here. You only have to do this once. But the first time you go in here, you're going to get this warning. Yes, I understand what I'm going to be doing. I'm not that smart, but I'm smart enough to not to mess this up. Anyway, so this thing comes up and here we are, and this is the command line. And right now we're in the home directory. If we do an ls space -l means list all the files. We can see this is the public HTML directory. We're going to go in there, cd public _ HTML. So I'm going to go into the public HTML directory. And now when I do an ls-l, I see my files, and these are the 3 files that I created already. By the way, you can do dir also. That's just like you know, DOS. And these are the 4 files. There's a first one's a directory, and then the 3 files. We're interested in test.py. So in here, you notice we have not. Well, I guess we do have this up there. Okay. Anyway, let's run this. We don't even really need this up here because. But anyway, so we can run this Python 3 space test.py. Okay, look, it ran as a Python program. First, it printed this out. It doesn't need to be printed out for when you run it as a terminal program, but if you're running it from the web server, going back to a browser, then you have to have that line there, and it does hello world and so on. And there's no name value pairs that went in. All right, so this Python program works from the terminal, but as you can see, it's not working from here because it just displays that out. Well, let's put in, let's do the first part of this. Let's put this in the htaccess file. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go back to the file manager, click on this htaccess, edit it. And I don't think it matters where we put it. I think I'm going to put it right after this other stuff here. I'll just put it right here. Paste it right in there. And so this says if it's got a .py, then it's a Python file, or it's a script. It says it's a script. And say what kind of script. It just says it's a script. And now what happens when I try to run this? Let me go back. I'm going to click on it, and what happens? Bung, internal server error. Well, let's try to fix this internal server error. I'm going to go back to the, I go back to here, and I notice the permissions are 0644. And they're supposed to be change the file permissions to 755. So let's do that. Go over here and click on the file and do a right click. What does this do? Click here. Oh yeah, okay. And to make it 755, I click on execute, execute, execute. Make sure it's 755. If it's something else, then it detects it and won't let you do it or some crazy thing. So change permissions. So now it's 0755. Let's see if this does it for us. Refresh. Oh, that worked. Okay, now sometimes you still may get an internal server error depending on how you copied and pasted the program into here. But when you go back to testing your Python script, you can hear this does the test. And it takes a while because it actually logs in. Okay, so this is what this test does. And so I put everything here just so you can learn. Okay, so the first thing I do is I log in. I log in just like the terminal, and then I go into the public HTML directory, and then I execute this command. This command will take out any carriage return characters. The new line character is just, it's \n, right? And so all you should have at the end of every line is a new line character, but sometimes in some formats there's also a \r, which is the carriage return character. So it'll be \r \n. And so what this command does is this takes out, and that having those \r's can cause a problem. That can cause an internal server error. And I haven't quite figured out exactly how to create a file that's got that error, but I think it has to do with copying and pasting. Anyway, it goes in, it logs in, and it executes this for you to fix it. And then it also executes this for you. It does that change mod, changing, so it actually does this for you. So you can forget to do this too, and it does it for you, because that's what this does. This changes the permissions. And then this is a way to list out your file. It's nl-ba and then the name of the file, and it prints out with line numbers. So you can do it this way if you want to. nl-ba-nl-ba nl-ba-test.py, and it looks like that. Or you can just do cat test.py and it'll look like this. Oops, cat test.py. It'll just look like that without line numbers, the raw file. Anyway, so this does it, and the reason is because it displays out what it's testing, and when I go in here, if you're having a problem and you're getting an error, then I can just go in here and look at it, and I can just see your code directly. I don't have to try to log in as you or anything. So this is the code that we copied over, and this actually runs it, tries to run it from the web server. It should get back a return code of 200, which means everything's fine. And the object, return object, looks like this, which is what displays, the browser displays out. This shows like what it was doing. Let's see, this says that it found the file exists. That's what the 200 was. It got back this version number. It got back the hello world with no name. And then it also tested it again, and it got back the hello world with the name. So anyway, so this all worked out. Okay, it's 2:22, 2:45. All right, so that's the assignment. Let me that's all you got to do. And when you're done, you're done. And then I will see what happens when I refresh this, and we can see that this works. Oops. Anyway, if you hit refresh, you can see that I got the points already. And then every couple of weeks I download. I have a link. I click it. Downloads a file, uploads right to La Lima, and then it's recorded in La Lima. But it's not recorded directly into La Lima. But you will know that you got all the points, because when you run this thing, the fact that this shows down here, that being displayed out is actually recording it in my database. All right, so let's see what. So we have a little bit of time here. Let me go back to the syllabus. And we are in here. Let's look at challenge activities in chapter 2. Let's take a look at chapter 2, see what it looks like. Okay, this is a pretty important chapter. Let's start with a relational model. And you know, the thing is this thing really explains it really well. And if you actually go through these participation activities and take them kind of seriously, you know, this isn't rocket science. You pretty much absorb it. There's a lot of terminology here that you just have to learn, and so you know what we're talking. A lot of these terms are interchangeable. There's relational algebra terminology, and there's database terminology, and so on. But these sets and tuples and so on, they pretty much mean the same thing as in programming languages. And a relation is a set of a tuple is like records, and a relation is like a table. So it's like a table of tuples, a set of tuples, and so that's just terminology. And a record has got attributes; those are fields of the table. Called attributes, and relational tuples and so on. In the relational model, the order of tuple values is not significant. They say that, but really it is, because you know, a select, because order, when we start doing SQL, the order of the fields does matter. If you get the order wrong, you can mess things up. But in theory, the order shouldn't matter. So that's what they're talking about here. So anyway, let's just make sure you understand the operation. So these are the database. Selecting is selecting a subset of rows. So that's like a select statement. You have a table of a table that's got all the students at Manoa, and you want to select out the ICS majors. You know, it's sort of thing. So you get that table. It's got students, but just the ones that you restricted it to. Select statement. Projection eliminates some of the columns, so you might only be interested in the names and the addresses of students, and not a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's a projection. So this is selection and a projection, and a product is all combinations, and you do that followed by a selection, and you can get how rows relate to each other, how tables relate to each other, or how relations relate to each other. Joining is another way of doing it. Union combines two tables together. The columns have to be the same. And intersection, you know, combines, just takes two tables and just select the rows that are in common. And a difference takes a table and then subtracts out common records from records that are in common from a second table. That's what difference does. All right, so this explains that. Here we're actually starting to get into SQL statement. This looks very much like an SQL statement. You have a table called employee, and one of the fields in the table is the name, and another field in the table is a salary. And here we just want the names of the employees where their salary is over this number here, 50,000. And what is the result of a relation operation? I guess it's a table. that means that's closure. So tables operating, when you operate on tables, the result is a table. And what that means is that you can have tables operating on tables operating on tables. You know, you can nest these operations. And we'll see how those work. So there are two kinds of sets of rules. There's relation rules and there's integrity rules, and this sort of explains. Relational rules are also called integrity rules. The two different kinds of rules are structural rules and business rules. And structural rules are things that you can, where the database management system can usually enforce structural rules just because that's how you define your tables. You define a table, you define one of the columns as the primary key, and that's all you have to do. And after that, the database management system will make sure that you can't put two records in there that have the same primary key value. Okay? The database management system will take care of that. And there's other kinds of rules called business rules, which are rules that are like added by the application, and no unique business rules are specific to a particular database and application. Unique column values, you may have some columns where you know they have to be, where all the values have to be unique, similar to like a primary key, but it's not a primary key. Let's see, what's an example? Employee numbers. Well, I guess an employee number may be a primary key, but let's say you have the social security numbers of employees. You're not going to have the social security number is not going to be the primary key for whatever reason, for lots of reasons, but you still would have the social security number would still be, assuming everybody has one, then that would be a unique column because there shouldn't be any duplicates there. No missing values is another one. Other kinds of, so a database management system can enforce these things also. There's other rules, like let's say you want to have a business rule where no employee is going to make more than their manager, just for example. Well, you can code those kinds of rules into the database management system also by the form of a trigger. And so we will learn about those later on in the semester. But the whole thing about database management systems is there's all kinds of ways where you can specify all these rules, and the database management system will enforce them. So it's much better than having a bunch of spreadsheets. So that's the relational model. It talks about tables, columns, and rows, similar to what we talked about earlier with relations, fields, tuples, and attributes, I guess. Terminology. These are like primitive data types that you can have. Relational database support these kinds of data types, for example. Structural rules, tables are normalized, which means there's exactly one value per cell, and you can't have duplicate column names, and you can't have duplicate rows. Okay, you're not supposed to have duplicate rows. And you cannot have duplicate column names. Now, when we actually start working with databases, you know, these are not really enforced unless you ask them to be enforced. no duplicate rows, for example, that's not enforced unless you specifically say that you want no duplicate rows, you want distinct rows coming out, and then that'll be enforced. But anyway, when we're talking about relational databases, we mean no duplicate rows. Every table has a primary key, and so you can't have duplicate rows if you have a primary key. And you can't have duplicate columns either. But you can certainly do relational operations. You can certainly do select operations, and what comes back is there's columns that are with the same name. Okay. Oftentimes it ends up having a little bit of randomness to it. And then there's this a null value in database tables. It's kind of a special value, and it's not the same as blank. It's more like missing. It's missing, and so that has implications when you're trying to select and restrict and so on. Nulls are treated in kind of a funny way, and I think this book talks about it. Null and arithmetic comparisons. If you're doing a selection and it's possible that your data you have values that are null, you want to test for those specifically, because otherwise your results can be random. If there's null values, they may be included or they may not be included. They don't behave the same way, so you have to test for them specifically. So make sure you do that. So these are some exercises that help exemplify how that works. So you can go through those, make sure you get all the points. Let's see. It is primary keys, referential integrity, inner and outer joins, normal forms, relational. Yeah, we're not going to get through this all this week. We have tomorrow. I'm going to spend a lot more time on normal forms and relational algebra. We talk more about joins and so on later on. Anyway, so that's null values, and then now this concept of a primary key and foreign keys. A primary key is a column or a group of columns that are used to identify a row, uniquely identify a row, and they're defined as the primary key. A primary key may consist of two columns, but it's usually you like to have it be just one column, and you also kind of like to have it not mean anything else, like it's arbitrary. So like for an employee, for employees, for example, you probably don't want to have it be like the social security number, even though every employee has a social security number and they're going to be unique, because it's for some reason or another, you don't want to, if it may change or whatever, you don't want it to have it be where you can't change the employee number because that's the social security number. Or let's say you want to somehow put one person in there twice because the way they're being paid is they get two paychecks or some crazy thing like that, which can happen in fact at the university. So if the employee number is the same as the social security number, then that can cause problems. Anyway, so that's what primary keys are. Foreign keys are columns in a table that are not the key to a row in that table, but a key to a row in another table. So let's see if there's a good example here. Okay, here we have a table which has all of the departments in our company. We've got these 4 departments, and each department has a manager. And so so this column here, this manager column, is very important because it has the key to the employee in the employee table. That is the manager of the department. You see, so the manager of the engineering department is 2538, who happens to be Lisa Ellison, and so on. Turns out that technical support doesn't currently have a manager, so that's why that field is null. So this is a foreign key because it's a key, but it's a key into another database, or I mean, a key into another table. This here is the primary key for the department table. This is the primary key for the employee table. And this here is a foreign key in the department table, which is the primary key of the employee, which is a foreign key into the employee table, the primary key of the employee table. All right, so so that's an important concept. Multiple foreign keys referring to the same primary key. See, you can have department staff, you can have a manager and an assistant. So both of these fields are foreign keys into the employee table. And you can also have foreign keys referring to the primary key of the same table. You can have employees, like these are employees, and and every employee, let's say, has a manager, except for this the top person here. And so this is the manager field is a foreign key into the same table, which is the now if you were going to actually have a select statement which it has some joins in it that displays out a table that's got employees and their managers and in the same table, you would probably be joining employee manager table with another instance or virtualization of the employee manager table, but referring to it as the table of managers, and so you would have to have aliases for the employee manager tables and so on. Anyway, and we'll see how all that works. Here is a composite foreign how we have an employee composite foreign key referring to a composite primary key. So we have a family table that's got everybody in the company and their family members, and so it's in a table like this where the key is the primary key is a composite key. The first part of the composite primary key is the employee, and then there's an additional field called a number field for the family members of an employee. So you see how that works. Employee 6381, which is employee ID. Interesting. Okay, there must be another table here that's got employee number here. So there's an employee table, and there's this is found 2538 is probably Lisa Ellison's spouse and son, and 6381 is Maria Rodriguez and her family. Anyway, so that's primary keys and foreign keys. Referential integrity is where you know, you can't have a table that's got a foreign key in it. It's got a foreign key in it, and it points off to some non-existent key or some non-existent record in some other table. So in other words, if there is a manager, if there's a manager 2538 in this table, and saying the manager of engineering is 2538, there better be an employee over here with the ID 2538. If they're not, if it's not, then referential integrity is broken, and the database won't let it happen. The database won't let you put 2538 in that field unless there's a 2538 in the employee table, and the database won't let you delete employee 2538 if it is referred to in the department, from the department table. Okay, it'll either not let you delete the employee, or it'll let you delete the employee, but it'll also delete the department along with it. Okay, so it insists on this referential integrity, and that's what that is. And when you make these connections, when you say that this field in this table is a foreign key into this other table, and you specify what happens when one or the other is deleted, and those are the rules that you specify. And we're going to be doing all that. You're going to be doing all that, I think, in the assignment 2. So there's different ways that referential integrity can be violated, and the database basically won't let it happen. So when you're setting up rules, this is what you say should happen. You're either going to restrict, which means you're not going to let it happen. You're going to cascade it, which means you're going to, if you delete this, you're going to delete that also. Or if it gets, if you delete the employee, it'll automatically get set to null. Any references to that employee in other tables, it will automatically get set to null, or it'll get set to some default value. See, so that's, so you specify what happens when these violations are about to occur. And I think this is a good time to quit, because inner joins, we should spend some more time on it than we have right now. And so I'll come back, I'll return to section 2.6 tomorrow. All right. Oh, when could we expect the gradebook to be updated? Good question. Somebody asked that. Let's see. How about, let's see, when is assignment 1 due? I know you can't see my screen right now, but assignment 1 is due Monday, January 31st. This is the 27th, and the 20th, so 31st is next Monday. Let's see. How about if I do it before the first time we meet next week? Okay, so that'll be the first time that I update it, and I'll go through, I'll copy over all the scores from the textbook and the scores from assignment 1, and if there's anything else too, like forums or something. All right, very good question. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.